Hello and welcome to the Storytelling for the Soul podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Kanata, and this is the place we talk about all things expressive writing and other creative techniques, all with a little bit of Buffy the Vampire Slayer thrown in. Buckle up and enjoy. Welcome back to another episode of the Storytelling for the Soul podcast. I am your host, Sarah Kanata, and I'm back with another short episode on something that I've noticed among my clients. And I think perhaps it's something people who are in the health, well-being, healing space don't often talk about. So with my work with embodied writing and what I call journaling with a twist, I tend to encounter people who have a bit of a traumatic past. And look, we all have things that happen to us. We all have trauma. Trauma is subjective. I know lately trauma has been talked about quite a bit more, which I think is great that people are becoming more aware of it. I just feel like sometimes people underestimate how subjective trauma is. And what I mean by that is something could happen to me and I would think nothing of it. That same thing could happen to someone else and they carry around a massive weight for the rest of their life. I'm also not a massive fan of the big T, little t trauma distinction for that exact reason. I just feel like it creates this comparison where there shouldn't be comparison because everyone's lived experience is their lived experience. There's no debating it. There's no justifying it. It is what it is. Everyone tells their story from their lens, and I'm an avid believer in expressing our stories. What I've noticed is people have made a lot of progress in their lives. They've done a lot of inner healing work. It's not necessarily journaling or embodied writing. Could be a mixture of things. It could be going to therapy or just doing things that make them happy. Maybe switching careers. Maybe distancing themselves from people who don't add positively to their life. There's a bunch of things, and really healing is never a done job. Healing is ongoing. And healing, unfortunately, has been misconstrued in my opinion. When I talk about healing, I refer to it as all parts of ourselves returning back so that we are whole. And even in that definition, that implies that we're not whole as we are. I don't mean it in that way. I just mean that as things happen in our lives, as we experience different things, different challenges, you really never know what's going to happen in life. I mean, if you think about it, for all the controlling that most of us do, the most important things are really 100% outside of our control. But here's the thing. What I think happens with some people is they've gone through so much in their past that when a doorway opens for them that is really good, really positive, could be the best thing that's ever happened to them in their lives, they often carry the weight of the past into what happens next. And I don't think those stories necessarily always benefit us. What I mean by this, or let me say it in a different way. There are things, there are people, there are opportunities that present themselves in our lives that are good, that are genuinely good, that have no strings attached whatsoever. I feel part of the healing journey, or whatever you want to call it, I'm not fussed at all. I think language can sometimes be a barrier. But a big part of the healing journey is receiving. And if you're anything like me, I've lived this myself. receiving can be one of the hardest things to do. Because I'm hardwired for all the stuff that I've already experienced. It's taken me a long time, a lot of years, I'm going to say 5+ years, to genuinely understand that this world is all about give and take. You can't just give all the time without receiving. That creates inequity. And a big part of the healing journey is when that door opens, and it's your door, because if it wasn't your door, it wouldn't be opening. Stepping into that, being present in the moment. I've been working with quite an exceptional mentor lately, and what they've taught me is that it's actually nothing miraculous. It's just you don't tend to think of these things as you go about your daily life. There really is no such thing as a past and a future. They're both concepts. Of course, we all have stories and experiences that contribute to who we are today. But all we really have is now, this present moment. As you're listening to this is all you have. This is where change happens. So I want to encourage you that if you have opportunities or new things popping up in your life, to create a little bit of a blank page. That doesn't mean to blindly go into things without doing your research, feeling into how it's feeling, your intuition, that kind of thing. But not everything in life comes with strings attached. I'm a firm believer, and I believe it was Mel Robbins on the Mel Robbins podcast who I heard say this. If a door opens, it's your door. The door's not going to open if it's not your door. That's how the universe works. So if you're someone listening to this who, and be honest with yourself, awareness is the first piece. If you're someone who is constantly giving, but you know that there's a reluctance to receiving, start getting curious about that. I'm not asking you to judge yourself or judge others if you notice those same patterns in them. I'm asking you to be curious and to think and feel into what might be surfacing for you. Because I don't think healing is complete until you can truly receive without question. Receive in the present moment and have self-trust that regardless of whatever unfolds, you will be okay. I'm going to leave this episode as a short and sharp episode. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to check out my work, sarahkanata.com. You are always very, very welcome to reach out to me directly as well via email, info@sarahkanata.com. Don't worry about the spelling. I'll have everything in the show notes. Until next time, thank you.